What is up, Dallas Cowboys fans? It's your old friend IndyCar Tim here with the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz. It is Friday, March 21st. It's been a minute since we did one of these things since the season ended, but it's time to jump right back into it as we are just a little over a month away from the NFL draft. We'll get into all of your draft talk, rumors, speculation, all of that good stuff as it approaches here beginning April 24th from frigid Green Bay. I don't know, is Green Bay cold in April? I don't know. I've never been there. Never will be. But free agency things happening for the Cowboys. Again, not a lot as expected, as they're just never big players these days in free agency. But still things to talk about. The best and most interesting things I can think of these days right now, as the first wave here of free agency is pretty much done, are the rumors and speculation, because the Cowboys have some holes to fill, and we know they'll be looking at wide receivers in the draft, offensive and defensive line help in the draft. But Cooper Rush is gone, as he's over there with your Baltimore Ravens. And that's not something I think the Cowboys expected. Just like I don't think they expected Rico Dowdle to be gone. I think that kind of took them by surprise. So they're going to need a backup quarterback. Now, will they draft somebody? This isn't the best draft class for quarterbacks, to be quite honest. I'm not really huge on any of these guys. Maybe you are. That's great. Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, generally considered to be the two best in the draft. If it was any other draft, and if all 32 NFL teams had great starting quarterbacks, these guys wouldn't go anywhere before the third round, I don't think. I'm just not that big on them. But you have teams desperate for quarterbacks, so you will get the Browns, the Giants, hell, even the Titans. They may be giving up on Will Levis. Those are your top three teams picking 1 through 3, and they could all potentially take a quarterback. So one of those guys is going to go in the top 3. You may have both of them going in the top 3. I don't know. No one knows what the Browns are going to do. Good Lord. What a mess. But rather than maybe finding a backup quarterback in the draft, which, Dak just starts his brand new, $40 million a year, $60 million a year. His new contract just starts this year, you guys, in case y'all didn't know that he signed last offseason. That just goes into effect this year. So Dak's here for the next 4 years with all of that money. So do you go get a quarterback in the draft for Dak to back him up? Maybe potentially replace him, or do you bring a young quarterback in if there's someone you like out in the league that's been a recent draft pick? Well, there are rumors already, and from a pretty reliable source. So, a lot of these so-called, insiders, and look, I never claim to be an insider. I just take information that I find and I regurgitate it to you guys. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, who I've found to be a somewhat reliable source in all of this, has a quarterback linked via a possible trade to the Dallas Cowboys. And that is Joe Milton III, the current New England Patriots backup quarterback. Jeremy Fowler says that the Cowboys, among other teams, there's other teams interested in him too. I know that he's been linked to the Cleveland Browns starting job, which is weird, as they have the number 2 pick. They could go get whoever they want. But Jeremy Fowler says that Joe Milton has been a name linked to the Cowboys. They are just the latest team to show interest in him. And he noted on Wednesday's edition of NFL Live that the Patriots are willing to discuss a trade for him, and that he mentioned on the show as well the Cowboys. They're looking for a good backup, a young backup, and maybe somebody that they could develop into a starter behind Dak when he's finally done, which maybe sooner than later if these injuries keep up, but that's a show for another day. Milton was a 6th-round pick out of Tennessee in 2024. He didn't see a lot of action behind Drake May last season because they were really trying really hard to make Drake May the guy up there, and maybe he will, maybe he won't. He threw for 241 yards and a touchdown on 22 of 29 passing and adding a rushing score on the ground in a win over the Bills. I believe that was their Week 18 game. And keep in mind, the Bills weren't playing for anything. I don't believe they played all their starters, but still against NFL caliber talent. Take it for what it is. A lot of people thought he was overlooked coming out of college, out of Tennessee. He didn't have, stats that jumped off the board for you. In his only full season as a starter in 2023 for the Vols, he threw for 2,813 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 picks, and he rushed for 299 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground in the SEC. Those aren't horrible numbers, but they're not numbers that jump off the stats sheet for you when you're looking at quarterbacks to draft, right? Except for maybe the 6th round, right? When you're taking a flyer on a guy, and that's exactly what the Patriots did for him. So, trades have been discussed with the Patriots from teams regarding Milton. The Patriots added Josh Dobbs in free agency earlier this month. You would think that he would win the backup role over Milton in a camp situation. Again, Drake may be in the starter there. Maybe not. I would love to see Joe Milton 3, JM3, whatever he's going to be called, Joe Milton. I would like to see him have an opportunity to compete for a starting job. There was no way he was going to win the starting job in New England because Drake May was crowned the future starter because of where they drafted him, and he's the golden boy in New England. Milton, I think, would have a great opportunity in a lot of teams' camps. I don't think he's horrible. I haven't watched a ton of film on him. I did watch him play in the SEC quite a bit, and I never thought that he was, going to be a top pick, but I always thought he would be serviceable in the NFL. And maybe he, with the right team and the right situation and the right system, which all quarterbacks need those things to add up for them, would be a decent NFL quarterback, especially with his mobility. He's got huge mobility. I'll tell you this, he reminds me a lot of Dak coming out of Mississippi State with his legs, his ability to run, which Dak certainly does not have anymore. Dak's strength to his game early on, that success he had that rookie season after Romo's injury, was his ability to run and move around and make decisions with his legs, and he can't do that anymore. I'm not saying Dak's not a good quarterback anymore. Clearly he is, whatever side of the fence you sit on that opinion, but I think he is. I still think Dak's good, and I would like to see a better offensive line in front of him. That's going to be true of anybody. So is Joe Milton the third? Is he the future quarterback for the Cowboys? Probably not. Could he be a serviceable backup behind Dak, who's probably going to miss 5 games for the next 4 years of his career? I mean, we hope not, but let's just, throw it on the table. Dak's going to miss some time every year, probably for the rest of his pro career with injuries. Would you like to have somebody there? Cooper Rush was adequate. I think we could have done better than Cooper Rush the last couple of years as a backup. Maybe Joe Milton's that guy. What do you guys think? I would love to hear what you guys think for a backup for Dak, because right now the Cowboys have none. I think Will Greer's under contract. Do you want to go into the season with Will Greer as the backup behind Dak or as the emergency third? What would you guys like? Find me on the X at IndyCar Tim. I'm also IndyCar Tim on Instagram. Find me on Facebook. Or just leave me a comment here under the video on the YouTube channel, here on the FanStream Sports YouTube channel. Would love to talk to you there as we begin to do more of these, get them in regularly for you, probably 3 or so a week before we get to closer to the season, when we start doing them every day again for you right here on FanStream Sports. Have some guests here for you and some all sorts of entertaining things right here on the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz on FanStream Sports. But yeah, let me know what you think about the Cowboys backup quarterback situation, about the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback situation. Who would you like to see behind Dak Prescott? And it can be even an outlandish guess. It doesn't even have to make sense. That's why we're here, just to have fun, right? Let's keep having fun right here on FanStream Sports. We will do it again, probably here over the weekend. It is Friday right now. This is your Friday edition. we'll have something for you probably before Monday. If not, it'll be on Monday. Depends on when I get around to do these things. I got other teams I got to talk about too. Come over and see those at the FanStream Sports TV, our YouTube channel. But we will do it again here in the next couple of days. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on X. And we'll talk about your Dallas Cowboys next time. Until then, boys and girls, we'll see you.